Hey everybody, it is day 4, math time. We are going to be doing lesson number 27. You need this paper. It says lesson number 27 problem set. Make sure you're on that page. And it says day number 4, and you're going to need a pencil. This lesson is very similar to yesterday's lesson. It's hard. There's lots of different strategies that we're using, so we're going to continue with our practice. So we're going to be comparing fractions using greater than, less than, or equal to. So everybody, let's look at A. We've got mixed numbers. We have 5 3/4, and we are comparing it to 5 3/8. Right away, I notice that my whole numbers are equal. That doesn't help. However, I have the same numerators. They're both 3. So my rule is, when the numerators are the same, look at the denominators. We've got a 4 and an 8. The greater the denominator, the smaller the piece. So I would much rather share with 4 kids than with 8. So I'm going to say 5 3/4 is greater than 5 3/8. Let's go to B. We are comparing 5 2/5 to 5 8/10. They are mixed numbers. When I look at the whole numbers, they're both 5. That does not help me out. My numerators are different. My denominators are different. However, I see that I can easily decompose fifths and turn them into tenths. So let's show the work. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. So now we're comparing to 4/10 to 8/10. The rule says when the denominator is the same, the greater the number in the numerator, the greater the fraction. 8/10 would be further to the right than 4/10. So I would say 5 2/5 is less than 5 8/10. Let's move down to C. Here I'm comparing 5 6/10 to 27/5. I have a mixed number and I have an improper fraction. I would never compare them this way. One strategy I could use is to turn this improper fraction into a mixed number. So I'm going to divide. 5 goes into 27 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 27 minus 25 is 2. I keep the same denominator. Now I'm comparing tenths to fifths. If I use my benchmark of a half, I can figure this out. When I'm dealing with tenths, 5/10 is equivalent to 1/2. So that means 6/10 is 1/10 more than 1/2. When I look at fifths, it's an odd number. So it can't be 2 because 2 plus 2 would be 4/5, and that wouldn't be a whole. It can't be 3 because 3 plus 3 would be 6. So it'd be like 2 1/2. But 2 is definitely smaller than 2 1/2. and we can show 2.5 as 0.5. So that would make 5 6/10 greater because the 6/10 is more than half. Little thinking involved in that one. Maybe some of you were saying, hey, I could turn fifths into tenths. Absolutely. If that makes more sense to you, by all means do it. Let's look at D. We're comparing 5 2/3 to 5 9/15. They're both mixed numbers. They both have 5 as the whole number. Numerators are different, denominators are different. But right away, I know that I can decompose thirds into 15ths. It's 3 times 5, that's 15. 2 times 5 is 10. So 2/3 is equivalent to 10/15. And I know that 10/15 is greater than 9/15. We're going to E. E, they're both improper fractions, but they have the same numerators. So I can use my rule. When the numerators are the same, look at the denominators. The bigger the denominator, that would be 3, the smaller the piece. So I would rather share with 2 people than 3. I would get more of that brownie in that pan. Therefore, 7/2 is greater than 7/3. Move into F. We're comparing 12/3 to 15/4. Well, these are improper fractions. Numerators are different. Denominators are different. I'm going to turn them into a mixed number. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's easy. 15 divided by 4, well, 4 can go in 3 times. 4 times 3 is 12. So 15 minus 12 is 3. That's my new numerator. I keep the same denominator. Now I can compare whole numbers. 4 is definitely greater than 3, which makes 12/3 greater than 15/4. Let's go down to G. We are comparing 22/5 to 4 2/7. We're comparing an improper fraction to a mixed number. So I want to turn this into a mixed number. I'm going to do 22 divided by 5. That can go in 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20. So 22 minus 20 is 2. Keep the same denominator. So 22/5 is the same as 4 2/5. If I look at the whole numbers, it doesn't help. They're both 4. When I look at the fractions, I see that the numerators are the same. So now I just follow the rule. The bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. 7 is bigger than 5, so 5ths are larger slices than 7ths. Therefore, 22/5 is greater than 4 2/7. Let's move to H. We are comparing 21/4 to 5 2/5. I've got an improper fraction to a mixed number. I want to turn this one into a mixed number. 21 divided by 4. 4 can go into 21 5 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 21 minus 20 is 1. Keep the same denominator. Now, when I look at my whole numbers, they're the same. My numerators are different. My denominators are different. So what I want to do is say, can I turn fourths into fifths? No, nothing times 4 will equal 5. So I'm going to take the two denominators and multiply them together. When I do that, I get 20. So I'm going to turn both of these into 20ths. Four times 5 is 20. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 4 is 8. So now I'm comparing fractions that have the same denominator. I know that 8 is greater than 5. So 21/4 is less than 5 2/5. Let's go down to I. I have 29/8, which is an improper fraction, and 11/3, which is an improper fraction. I'm going to turn them into mixed numbers. 8 can go into 29 3 times. 8 times 3 is 24. 29 minus 24 is 5. Keep the same denominator. So I get 3 5/8. Now I'm going to divide 11/3. 3 can go into 11 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 11 minus 9 is 2. Keep the same denominator. Now, when I look at my whole numbers, they're the same. My numerators are different. My denominators are different. What I want to do is take the denominators, multiply them together. I get 24. So I'm going to turn 5/8 into 24ths, and I'm going to change 2/3 into 24ths. Eight times what is 24? 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 8 is 24. 2 times 8 is 16. Now I'm comparing 15/24 to 16/24. Which one's greater? 16/24. Therefore, 29/8 is less than 11/3. We've got one more to go, folks. J. We're comparing 3 3/4 to 3 4/7. They're both mixed numbers. The whole numbers are the same. So I look to the fraction, different numerators, different denominators. I can't multiply either to become the other. I can't divide. So I'm going to take those two denominators and multiply them together. I get 28. So I'm going to turn 3/4 into 28 and 4/7 into 28. 4 times 7 is 28. 3 times 7 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 4 times 4 is 16. Now I'm comparing like denominators. So the bigger the numerator, the bigger the fraction. 21 is greater than 16. So 3 3/4 is greater than 3 4/7. Let's flip the page. You are going to do lesson 27 homework on your own. You're going to do all of them, A through J. Please show your work. And you're going to use greater than, less than, or equal to. Bring this completed paper back with you on Thursday. If you have questions, you can chat or email me. And if I see you're having great difficulty, and just try it, but we can go over this in class on Thursday.